Welcome to the first in a series of companion videos for works that utilize live effects. This first one features Jenni Brandon's Cacophony, which was just recently made available on our website. And so some of the things that we'll go over and sort of the purpose to these videos is I want to go over specifically the equipment that I'm using in my live and recorded performances of these pieces. And particularly, I want to go over the settings for this equipment. And so the purpose to these videos then is I want to help performers get going on exploring these works, regardless of whether they've used live effects before or not. First, let's go over some of the equipment for Cacophony. To effectively perform with live effects, we just need a few things. One is the pickup or microphone. This is a device that's going to help us take the clarinet sound and convert it into an electrical signal that can then be processed using either guitar effect pedals or, if you prefer, a computer with live audio processing capabilities. On the other side of that, we're going to need an amplifier and a speaker. So an active PA system, guitar amplifier, keyboard amplifier, all things that are suitable and work well for this purpose. Now for me personally, I use the piezo barrel wood model pickup as well as the Ion Total PA Max active PA system. And I'll leave links for these down in the description. To cover the middle of this signal chain, we have our delay effect. Now, Cacophony uses two different types of delay as the core effects. One is a more traditional digital delay that you can think of as just a simple echo effect. Now, the other type of delay is what's known as a reverse delay. So whatever you put into the pedal in terms of clarinet sound, it's going to play back in reverse. This piece was written using a particular effect pedal by Joyo, the DC dual channel delay. With its two programmable presets as well as a 6-second maximum delay time, this is a great all-in-one pedal, not only for this piece, but also for a lot of other pieces too within the modern solo repertoire for clarinet. Other equipment that's worth mentioning is going to be your cabling. The piezo barrel pickup comes with an 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch cable where one end is going to plug into your pickup and the other end is just simply going to plug into the delay pedal. And then on top of that, you'll also need just a standard 1/4 inch instrument cable. And then lastly, the pedal is going to require a power supply. So what I'll do is I'll also leave a link down in the description to just a simple 9-volt power supply to help you get going with using the pedal. Let's go ahead and go over some of the settings for this as well as the DC's capabilities. Now, once I've got this plugged in and ready to go, the pedal has two main foot switches. So on the right is your on and off or bypass switch. So as I press it on and off, there's going to be a light that toggles. And so this is going to tell you when the effect is engaged or when it's bypassed. Now on the other side is an A/B switch. This toggles between your two different presets. So whether the light is on or off, this is telling you which side of the pedal's memory that you're currently using. Let's go ahead and start with Cacophony's first delay setting, which is going to be the reverse delay. And so what we'll do is we'll start off by setting the time. So this setting sets the amount of space in between the repeats of the echo. To do that, we're going to need to engage the pedal's tap tempo function. And so the way this works is that I'm going to press both of these foot switches simultaneously. When that happens, this light over here on the left is now going to turn green to tell me that I've enabled tap tempo. After that, I'll wait 3 seconds, which is what's specified in Cacophony as my delay time, and then I'll press both of the foot switches simultaneously again. And so that's going to then set that delay time into the pedal's memory. So I'll go 1, 2, 3. And then now what's happened is that this light has changed from solid green to blinking red. And so the blinking is telling me that I've changed something. So now that I've set that 3-second delay time, I now have an alteration in that preset, and I need to save it if I like it. Now, say if I hated that and I'm like, no, just undo that, I'll go ahead and press the on-off switch, and what that'll do is it'll tell the pedal, hey, forget I ever did that, don't remember that. But I happen to like this delay time, so what I'll do is I'll press the A-B switch to tell it to save it into its memory, and now that's permanently there until I change something else. So whether or not the pedal is on or off, whether it's even plugged in or not, that setting is now firmly set into its programming. Now let's go ahead and set up the rest of this first setting. So now we're concerning ourselves with this top row of knobs here. This first one is my mix setting, or my volume, or sometimes called balance. So this is the balance of the delay signal in relation to the original clarinet sound. So for this reverse delay, I like it to be almost a little bit more equal to my original sound to make it seem like a little bit more of a conversational element whenever I have the reverse delay engaged. So I'll go ahead and set this mix knob to maybe like somewhere in like the 130 range in terms of positioning. And you'll notice that this light is blinking again to tell me that, again, I've changed something and I'll eventually need to save this if I want to keep that. Now, this pedal has 4 different modes of delay. The reverse delay is the 4th of those. So I'll set this mode knob to number 4. The time knob I don't need to concern myself with because I've already set that up through the tap tempo, so I don't need to touch that. My last one is my feedback, or the number of repeats. So once the echo has started, how many times it's going to repeat back to me before it stops. And so the number of repeats specified in Cacophony for the reverse delay is 3. So I'm going to set this a little bit lower. So I'm going to set this maybe about like the 10 or 1030 position on my feedback knob. And now that I've set everything, I'll go ahead and save it. And that's my reverse delay. So here's a quick summary of where all those positions are set for my reverse delay. So now that I've set that, I now need to switch to my other preset, which is my more traditional digital delay. So as a review, I'll go ahead and press this left foot switch, my A-B switcher. So this light is now on, telling me that I'm in the other preset now. And now I can play with these knobs at will to now play with my digital delay. And so with this mix, I like to set it a little bit lower in terms of balance. I like it to be maybe about 50% of the original sound to give myself a good supporting texture without it being too equal or overpowering. So I'm going to set this mix knob maybe more to like noon. The digital delay is mode number 1. So I'll go ahead and switch the mode knob to 1. Now, whenever I'm not using the tap tempo function, the time knob maxes out at 1 second. So conveniently enough, that's actually what I need for the digital delay setting for Cacophony. So I'm just going to max this knob out as much as I can to give myself that 1 second delay time. And then in terms of feedback, this one's a little bit more in quantity compared to the reverse delay. So I'm looking for about 5 repeats. So in this case, I'm going to set this to maybe like either noon or just slightly shy of noon to give me the feedback that I want for that second setting. So as I did with the reverse delay, I'll save that. And now that's going to give me my second setting. So the beauty of this is that now that I've set both of those, as I'm performing and practicing this piece, I actually don't need to touch these knobs again. So as I go through the piece, I'm either going to switch the effect on and off with the right foot switch, or I'm going to switch between the 2 different presets using the left foot switch. And that'll get me going on performing the entire piece. that's just going to about set us for this one. Now, a couple of quick tips for those working on this piece and come across a couple of hurdles or a couple of weird things that they're noticing. My main piece of advice is actually regarding the reverse delay. For those that have never used this effect before, you'll notice that it's very seemingly random and chaotic, and it's kind of supposed to be. So not only is it going to play the sound back in reverse, it's going to play it forwards. It's going to, depending on how the sound enters the pedal, it's going to clip off various bits of it. So it's going to sound very chirpy. That's kind of the beauty of it. That's the way it's intended, especially in this piece, in that the reverse delay is especially meant to dig in and emulate this sound and atmosphere of birds just calling out to each other in the distance at the first sign of dawn. Hence the name of Cacophony. So it's meant to sound chaotic. It's meant to sound out of order. And so my main piece of advice when using this effect is just accept it. Just enjoy it. Nothing's meant to rhythmically align up with anything. As I said, there's no order to it. So just enjoy the sound and enjoy the chaos while you're using that effect. You can also keep a similar thing in mind for the digital delay too, honestly, because all of these effects used in Cacophony are meant to provide more of an atmospheric and textural effect rather than a specific rhythmic interaction in terms of a duet or a trio. So even for the 1 second digital delay, if you're looking for something to line up very precisely and it just doesn't, that's okay. It's not really supposed to. So the middle section very much gives off this sort of like Ravel, Daphnis, and Chloe sort of sound. And it's meant to create this sort of haziness about it. And that's what makes this piece actually really, really cool to perform and to explore, because despite all these effects going on, it still remains very free. It still remains very open. And for a solo instrument with that amount of sound capability, this piece is just a blast to work with. To round it out with just a couple of shameless plugs, you can hear this work on my new EP titled Feathers and Fables. I'll leave a link to this down in the description. It's available for streaming and download on all of your major digital streaming platforms. And as I mentioned before, the sheet music to this is now available on Jenni's website, so you can experience and perform this work for yourself. And with that, I'll go ahead and say thank you so much for watching. Like I said, I want to do more of these videos in the future, so be on the lookout for more where I tackle other works in the clarinet repertoire, where I tackle the equipment used, the settings used on that equipment. And so to keep track with that, make sure that you've liked this video and subscribe to this channel so that you can stay up to date on future video releases. So I'll see you in the next one.